The Carolina fans are jumping. They have been waiting a couple of weeks for this home opener. Will Muschamp making his debut as the Gamecock head coach's first walk out into Williams-Brice Stadium. You know he has got some nerves going today, folks, because here come the Gamecocks getting ready to take on East Carolina. South Carolina has had a brutal start to the schedule. 2 road SEC games at night. They split those. They go 1-1. And today they come home to take on East Carolina, a team that is 2-0, coming off an impressive win over NC State. Let's go downstairs to the third member of our team, Olivia Harlan, who has Coach Will Muschamp.
Thank you, Dave. Coach, you've kept it quiet all week. So who are you starting at quarterback today?
Well, Brandon McIlwain will start the game, and we're excited about him. He's practiced well. He's prepared well for it.
Planning to stick with him all day?
Absolutely.
Coach, you coached a lot of games in Williams-Brice, but never as a Gamecock. What's it feel like to come out here and see a sold-out crowd?
Well, I'm glad I'm in garnet and black. I know that, but we got a great fan base. We need to play well for them.
Thank you. Good luck.
Well, thank you very much, Olivia. And at our broadcast position, there is nothing like the excitement of watching Gamecocks come out onto this Williams-Brice Stadium field in front of this full house. And Matt Stinchcomb, this is just gets the blood boiling, doesn't it, a little bit? And it's always nice to have some SEC football back here in Columbia, South Carolina after a tough start for this Gamecock team. We just heard Coach say that they're going to start Brandon McIlwain. And offensively, this has been a team that has really struggled, especially in the first half. Perry Orth has got his chance too. What does this say about where they are offensively and where are they going?
Well, you could see it in the second half versus Mississippi State, and Coach Muschamp has talked about it. They needed a spark. But the reason why we've seen Perry Orth in the first 2 games as the starter is he's a 5th-year senior, and they needed a stabilizing force at the quarterback position. He played well in the opener, especially in the 4th quarter versus Vanderbilt was different in the game, but it was Brandon McIlwain who went the distance in the second half versus Mississippi State last week and was able to get the offense going a little bit. They love his skill set. The question is, can he handle the bigger stages and allow them to do what they want to do offensively? And at this point, I think they recognize that they need whatever spark he can provide, and if it's improvisation at the quarterback position, so be it. Brandon McIlwain, I think, will be able to run the plays they want him to run versus what they have to have him run in the context of playing from behind.
Well, flip the script for East Carolina. They've got a guy that they are settling at quarterback. Their offense seems to be clicking. Phillip Nelson is their guy. What do you like about him running their show?
Almost everything. But your coaches love the fact that he's a tremendous leader and plays with impeccable poise. They move the pocket quite a bit. He's not scared to throw the football under duress. He scrambles to be able to deliver the football downfield and is able to operate what is otherwise a very diverse and multifaceted offense. Gets the balls to their playmakers very well.
East Carolina team not afraid to play Power 5 schools. They've had some great success, 6-2 in their last 8. So South Carolina better be ready to go. Proven last week against NC State.
They're ready for it. There's no question about it. This is not an intimidated Pirate football team. And they've always kind of had that mentality at ECU. Anyone, anytime. It'll be interesting to see how they perform on the heels of that shootout versus NC State a week ago.
Yeah, Pirates in the middle of a 3-game stretch against Power 5 teams. They'll take on Virginia Tech next week in Blacksburg. South Carolina won the toss. They want the football first. They will have it. A.J. Turner takes it at the goal line. Has a little bit of running room. Kicks it to the middle of the field. It's a foot race. He's to the 40, being chased down from behind and will be caught at the 20-yard line. Close to a horse collar, and there is a flag that comes in. An exceptional return from A.J. Turner, the redshirt freshman, 78 yards, and you might add some more to that.
You talk about the challenges around starting a true freshman. How about excellent field position to start the game? The only person cheering louder than the fans right now is offensive coordinator Kurt Rowe.
The return, personal foul, horse collar tackle, kicking team, after distance to the goal, first down.
And tag on some yards at the end of it. A.J. Turner, who's been a focal point for South Carolina in their ground game, redshirt freshman, igniting this crowd and giving his offense tremendous field position with that breakout kickoff return. Brandon McIlwain, who we've mentioned, he's got a diverse skill set to be sure. He's a mobile quarterback. They like what he brings, but you see the passing numbers still under 50% as he grows into this position.
South Carolina, what a great start to a club that has yet to score in the first half this year. McIlwain will keep it. First play, touchdown, 9 yards. Untouched into the end zone. Well, you wanted a quick start. I think you just got it.
Well, we talk about scoreless first halves have plagued South Carolina all season, and they've had to play from behind in those second halves and have done well, only allowing 3 points in second halves in the first 2 games. They jump out in this one.
Elliott Fry with the point after. It is 7-0 South Carolina.
Well, already we see what McIlwain brings. And watch Keontae Anderson, number 96, just collapses down from his outside linebacker position, makes it an easy read. See McIlwain pulling at Hayden Hurst from his tight end position, coming around as a lead blocker and giving the Gamecocks the start that they have coveted all season long.
Bill Muschamp had talked about changing up their meal plans and the times that they go to bed, wake up, practice schedules, all kinds of stuff to get it cranked up. It's all, make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Change the menu all you want, bus schedule, whatever. Change your quarterback, and that's the biggest impact you can have on a team.
That kick sails through the end zone out to the 25. Well, now you got to defend an offense that has been clicking behind the efforts of Phillip Nelson, a young man that was an outstanding high school player, national player. They're the state player of the year in Minnesota, but went to Minnesota and started 16 games over 2 years. Felt like he needed to be in a more pass-centric offense, so he transferred to Rutgers, but ran into some trouble there. Got into a fight in a bar and was dismissed 2 days after the incident. Was charged with assault. Transferred to East Carolina under Ruffin McNeil, who accepted him back into the fold. Sat out last year. Became the starter this year under Scotty McNeil and has been unbelievable when you look at the numbers. A little end around by Zay Jones. He'll take it out over the 35-yard line. A pickup of 12. And for Nelson, his numbers are staggering this year. 81% completion percentage. He's thrown for 695 yards, 6 touchdowns to 1 pick. Good start on their opening drive. First down and 10. He'll throw near side. That one is dropped by Jimmy Williams, the senior.
They're really high on Jimmy Williams. Already what South Carolina anticipates defensively is tempo and sideline to sideline plays to try to wear out the defense. You see Williams there. Needs to come up with that catch for his quarterback.
Quick throw to Zay Jones. That'll take it to the 44-yard line. It'll pick up 7. So now you're looking at third down and about 4, maybe 3.5.
Third downs are big for any defense, but especially for South Carolina. They have depth issues, specifically in their secondary. And the fear is for ECU to start piling up plays. The challenge will really stretch your secondary from a depth standpoint. And so far, ECU this season have been excellent on third downs.
Yeah, they're converting at 55%. Dump it off underneath. Catch is made, but shy of the first down. No gain. Zay Jones. Jamarcus King chases him down and brings him to the turf. The junior out of Mobile with the great defensive play.
Makes that drop by Jimmy Williams overshadow this opening drive for ECU. A missed opportunity for the Pirates for them to be able to maintain possession of this football and answer that opening scoring drive. As it is, nice defensive opening series for the Gamecocks.
So on 4th and 3, Worth Gregory will punt it away. The senior out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Started his career at Alabama back in 2012 before making a home at East Carolina. A good punt of 40 yards, no return. A.J. Turner got this whole party started today with a 78-yard kick return. And then it was McIlwain that put the Gamecocks on the board. Their second possession coming up when we come back. Gamecocks with an early first quarter lead over East Carolina. As you look at South Carolina's offensive lineup, and they have found a little gem out at tight end. And the sophomore, he's 23 years old, but he's just a sophomore in Hayden Hurst.
He's a mature sophomore, to say the least. Hayden Hurst spent some time playing baseball, but he's a good-sized guy, 6'5", 250. And then Brian Edwards, a true freshman on the opposite end of the spectrum, was a big playmaker for him in their opening game versus Vanderbilt.
They'll go inside handoff as McIlwain once again gets the start today at quarterback for South Carolina. Jordan Williams in on that tackle on A.J. Turner. Their first possession started at the 9-yard line. McIlwain on one play took it into the end zone. This possession starts at the 16. South Carolina's offense averaging 13.5 points a game. Just 77 yards a game on the ground. Here's McIlwain trying to get some yardage off the left side to the 21.
That's a good example of what defensive coordinator Kenwick Thompson for East Carolina likes to do. He'll crash linebackers into the line of scrimmage and attack the gaps immediately. It makes it difficult that the offensive front can't assess and take care of those guys as they approach the line of scrimmage. But if they do, you don't have a second level tackler. If the Gamecock runners are able to get past that line of scrimmage, that's a lot of green grass to get loose in.
It'll be a 4-man look from East Carolina on 3rd down. Let's call it 5. They'll go near side, high throw, pass is caught by Hayden Hurst. They'll say the reception is made out at the 28. That'll be good enough for the first down, give him 7 yards. That is a heck of a grab.
6'5", and he uses all of it. See if he clearly gets that left toe down in bounds. Great awareness and excellent concentration in completing that catch.
Good pocket for McIlwain. Airs it up. Far side. Pass is caught down to the 30-yard line. A 42-yard pickup by Brian Edwards, the true freshman, covered by Colby Gore.
You can see what they love in Brian Edwards. He's a big target, and you can see him a little bit of hand fighting as they run that route, but a clean catch. Did an excellent job of creating separation late. An excellent ball from McIlwain.
They get to the line in a hurry again. A big hole off the left side, and David Williams at 220 pounds picks up 20 yards down to the 10-yard line, and the tempo has certainly increased for the Gamecocks.
You see South Carolina jumping the ball. ECU trying to make substitutions.
1st and goal. McIlwain will keep it. Touchdown, South Carolina. What a drive.
Part of the reason why you start Brandon McIlwain is to be able to call the plays that you want versus calling the plays that you have to. We've seen him inserted into games. South Carolina having to play from behind, not necessarily getting to play to his strengths. And you can see already, not only with his legs, twice now getting into the end zone, but also with his arm, delivering a big pass to Brian Edwards.
Point after makes it 14-0. Yeah, Will Muschamp, you gotta like that. 84 yards. 6 plays. McIlwain, his 2nd touchdown. Twice he was untouched into the end zone. Well, through the first 2 games, South Carolina couldn't put a point on the board in the first half. Well, this week of practice, things certainly changed a little bit. Will Muschamp went out on Sunday, and they went after it pretty hard. Something that they don't normally do. Went back to the basics. I think he got his guys' attention a little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe he did. Maybe rang a few doorbells. You know, made some changes in the secondary. You know, in a very thin position group. Started 2 new safeties. I think message received, and his team has responded. Nobody is running tackling drills in pads on Sundays. The Gamecocks did, and it's paid dividends so far.
Certainly it is early with 10:47 to go in the first, but that's the start the coach wanted to see, and he's got it here. Quay Johnson on that return. 21. That guy's just a ball player. Old number 7.
We can't get him the football enough. There's a number of them. We mentioned Quay Johnson as well, who has yet got the football, and James Summers, who's in the Wildcat here.
They love to do this with number 11. He turns the corner. He is a big boy. It's hard to bring down. 6'3", 220 pounds, the senior. They'll line him up all over the field. Chris Lemans brings him down.
And the difficulty is that because he lines up all over the place, but they also won't substitute Phillip Nelson off of the field.
Nelson under pressure, dodges one man. Can't dodge them all, lose football. They throw the beanbag, say it's a fumble, and South Carolina has it. Dante Sawyer comes up with the football.
They came with the corner pressure. Chris Lemans from the short side of the field. It's a safe blitz because you don't have as much ground to cover, and he does an excellent job of staying with it. Nelson was able to stay on his feet, but Lemans finishes this play. Look at the effort by number 3, who was called out by his coaches for not playing his best last week. They loved the way he responded, and he has come up with probably the second biggest play of this game to give his offense excellent field position.
So South Carolina again with great field position. There's McIlwain. He'll keep it down to the 15-yard line.
Dave, this is what South Carolina wanted to introduce more of into their offense. A rushing attack, more counters, more power, downhill runs, inside zone concepts to help complement some of the shots that they can take on the perimeter. We've seen that already in this game. 2 targets to Brian Edwards down the field on the other side of some of these runs.
McIlwain 4 carries, 27 yards. Here's McIlwain. Hit again. This one a little too high for Hurst.
Too much juice on that one, running play action off of the counter. But you can see how Kurt Loper's setting up some of these passes that he can deliver downfield off some of the run looks that he's showing this ECU defense. McIlwain, he's largely been on target so far in this game, has been able to settle down, obviously, with that 2-score cushion.
Now it's 3rd and 10. Here comes some heat from the Pirates. Batted in the air and batted around, and is it picked off? East Carolina says they have it. No, incomplete.
It was the pressure of Dan Pratt from his outside linebacker position. It's their rush position in the ECU defense. Watch number 1. He beats Mason Zandy on the line of scrimmage. Does a great job of getting his hands up in the air. And then Jordan Williams, he had a chance at that one twice and wasn't able to come up with this catch. It looked like it got knocked loose by a Gamecock lineman. Turned defensive back right there to break up that interception.
That'll set up Elliott Fry with a 37-yard field goal attempt. 2 for 3 this year. He has made a 55-yarder, and he has missed from 55 this year. From the near hash, out of the hold of punter Sean Kelly. And that kick splits the uprights. So South Carolina will add to their point total. 17 here in the first quarter. Back in a moment. Well, East Carolina and South Carolina have met 18 total times. Gamecocks lead the series 13-5. First bet in 77. Last win for the Pirates was back in 1999. Gamecocks currently on a 3-game win streak between these two, but place is jumping right now. These folks been waiting a while for a home game, especially Will Muschamp's debut, and it has gone well so far.
Well, after stumbling their toe on the road last week versus Mississippi State, the question was, how would the fan base react? It's a sold-out crowd here at Williams-Brice. They've gotten exactly what they wanted so far in this one.
Taken at the 6-yard line by Quay Johnson. Quay hit at the 23. That inside handoff goes to Anthony Scott. He'll pick up 12 on that. Their leading rusher. 22 carries, 161 yards on the season. Had 120 in their opener against Western Carolina. Another hole off the right side, close to 10 yards again for Scott, the junior out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Tripped up by Chris Moody.
This was something they were a little skeptical whether or not they could get the ground game going because of some of the size differential. They had a lot of respect for South Carolina up front, but back-to-back nice runs between the tackles to get this drive going.
James Summers in the backfield. They'll shovel it his way. He'll have the first down inside Carolina territory at the 45-yard line. That's 11 yards and another first down as you look at this East Carolina offense. And we talked about them earlier. Zay Jones and Quay Johnson, these are game breakers on the outside.
Zay Jones is usually the outside threat. Quay Johnson in the slot. They'll blow him through the backfield and try to get the ball to him on the outside.
To the wide side of the field. That one is caught by Jones again. A gain of 11.
ECU does such a good job. Even though their tempo, Zay Jones does a good job completing that catch. Clearly hands underneath the football. But he was on opposite sides of the formation on back-to-back plays, back-to-back receptions. And here's the Wildcat again with Summers taking snaps.
He'll keep it off the right side. Makes a man miss inside the 15. He'll pick up 5 yards. Bryson Allen Williams had a chance to bring him down, couldn't hold on. Now it's second down and about 5 for the Pirates.
So they're going to stay with James Summers again now that they've gotten here into the red zone. Kind of a situational quarterback for ECU.
Well, this is right in the same spot, almost the exact same spot last week. He was lined up like this, scored a 15-yard touchdown, took some NC State players with him. They'll hand it off to Scott, nowhere to run. Lost a yard. TJ Holloman, the senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, went to St. Pius High School in Atlanta.
That time, a great job by safety Jordan Diggs, who didn't get the start here today. Was able to get in the offensive backfield, force Scott to dance and make moves before he even got to the line of scrimmage, and that play never got going. We mentioned how good ECU is on third downs. They're also excellent in the red zone. This is a big snap for this South Carolina defense as you see Nelson making adjustments.
Quick throw right through the hands of Anthony Scott. And here comes the kicking units.
You can see the adjustment. Nelson moved Quay Johnson from the left side of the formation to the right. Cleared up some space to try to hit Scott out there on the near sideline. And we've seen 2 drops in this game now that have cost ECU. One on the opening drive where they couldn't maintain possession, and now this one with the red zone stall, forcing this field goal attempt.
32-yard kick. Davis Plowman, the senior out of Roswell, Georgia. Kick is on the way, and it is good. And East Carolina's on the board. 3:37 to go here in the opening quarter. It's a 14-point ball game now. Nice drive by the Pirates. Stalls in the red zone, but they'll take the points.
Inside the 20.
Hand off to A.J. Turner. He'll pick up 4 yards right into the teeth of that East Carolina defense. It's a defense that's had a bit of a trouble last week slowing down NC State, and certainly they had their issues as well. Talk to their defensive coordinator, Kenwick Thompson. They wanted to tackle a little bit better as well. I mean, same kind of story as we heard from South Carolina. Little touch pass trying to hit A.J. Turner. Let's go downstairs, visit with Olivia.
Guys, after both of Brandon McIlwain's rushing touchdowns and the drive they had to kick a field goal, he returned to the sideline as a cool customer, very even-keeled, reacting the same. I talked to his high school coach earlier this week, Adam Kalachi, and he said on his face he could tell how much calmer Brandon was in week 2 than week 1. And A.J. Turner says he just likes the tempo. They clearly have a connection.
Yeah, they went real quick tempo on their last touchdown drive. That pass is caught. And then flipped up was Jacob August. Pickup of 2.
You could see the passing numbers there a second ago, though, after starting out hot, completing 2 passes, 1 for a big gainer. McIlwain cooling off a little bit. The past 2 possessions, he's been a little bit off target with some of these throws that otherwise could have gone to open receivers. He's just settled down a little bit again. Obviously was able to capitalize on excellent field position. 1 off of the turnover created by the defense, and then the excellent kickoff return. And now a substitution issue with Hayden Hurst coming back onto the field to be a part of the shield on the punt team.
East Carolina tried to come right up the middle to block it. Johnson now. He is thrown to the turf. They'll spot his forward progress out around the 23-yard line. Good coverage by South Carolina. 45-yard punt. Summers will watch this play with 2:06 to go here in the opening quarter. Throw a little bit low. They'll say incomplete. Looking for Zay Jones, who has just been on a crazy tear. You know, he has had multiple catches in 40 of his 41 career games. Over his last 4 coming into this one, he's averaged almost 11 catches a game and averaging 139 yards per contest. Think about those numbers.
So they're kind of mind-boggling and would otherwise be probably record-setting if it weren't for Justin Harding at ECU.
Right, he left a couple of years ago, now with the Atlanta Falcons. Jimmy Williams settles in right at the first down line, spins out of traffic, takes it to the 40 and picks up 15 yards.
Big cushion given by Jamarcus King on the far sideline. Jimmy Williams does a good job coming back to the football. We mentioned had a drop earlier on in this game. Good to get him back involved. Make sure that he gets a catch under his belt.
Boy, nice play fake all day, but he has to tuck it and run now. Boy, only 1 receiver downfield, and there were 3 black jerseys downfield defending Jones.
And you can see, you know, ECU likes these little half rollouts. You see 2 receivers end up going downfield, but as you mentioned, Dave, with South Carolina playing coverage, and by the time Nelson possibly could have gotten to James Williams there in the center of the field, he was already under duress and trying to protect the football. He's already been stripped for a fumble once in this game.
So that'll be it for the first 15 minutes. South Carolina in their first home game under the direction of Will Muschamp look good through 15 minutes. They put 17 on the board. They lead by a couple of touchdowns. Second quarter action, Williams-Brice Stadium here in Columbia, South Carolina. Dave Neal, Matt Stinscombe, Olivia Harlan down on the sidelines. Glad you could join us as the Gamecocks trying to push their record over 500. East Carolina's off to a great start, 2-0, coming off a win over NC State last week. Summers takes the shotgun snap, play fake, coming near side. He will turn the corner. Spotted out of bounds. Right about the 36-yard line. He'll pick up about 10 yards.
It's so difficult to defend when you look at it. It's like a counter tray. You end up having 2 lead blockers, including Badgett from his tight end position, leading Summers up towards the line of scrimmage, able to pick up some yardage to make it 3rd and manageable. But we've seen ECU and the South Carolina defense able to bow its neck and get an ECU offense off of the field on 3rd down.
Nelson, he'll tuck it, try to run for it. He's going to be close, but stopped just short. Actually, they'll mark him about 1.5 yards away from the line to make. DJ Smith comes up to make that play. So now you're probably in that go for it range. Offense stays out on the field.
We asked early on just how comfortable they would be with Plowman. This is well outside of their comfort zone, as it would be for most. On the 4th and short, trying to get something going in plus territory.
They'll dump it off. Pass is caught at the 32-yard line. Devin Anderson, their big back, 5'9", 210, makes the grab, and they'll move the chains.
The fact that he's big is what allows him to keep his feet up and running and able to pick up the yardage needed. And Jordan Diggs coming up from his safety spot. Just lift your head. This is some of the fundamentals that Coach Muschamp was talking about in tackling. Otherwise, you get the ball back for your offense there.
Over the middle, pass is incomplete. Looking for Quay Johnson.
See Nelson coming into this game. He's enjoyed pretty good protection all season long. Only 1 sack allowed by East Carolina. He's been knocked around a couple of times here today, sacked 3 times, and that time Marquavius Lewis, who's yet to notch a sack this season, was able to get a shot on the quarterback as well.
South Carolina only had 1 sack coming into this game. That pass is caught down to the 25-yard line by Johnson. He'll pick up 6. So back to another manageable third down. Third down at about 4.
Narrowly converted the previous one with an opportunity to get a tackle shy of the yardage needed by Jordan Diggs. And again, somehow ECU able to eke out the yards needed. Phillip Nelson making adjustments at the line of scrimmage.
Jimmy Williams goes in motion. They'll go underneath. And that'll be a loss of about 3 to Zay Jones. Heck of a play from Bryson Allen Williams.
ECU loves these shallow crossing patterns on third downs. You see Zay Jones come all the way across the line of scrimmage. You see the 2 wide receivers, they actually slap hands when you want to rub, and what you're hoping for is man-to-man coverage. That time, Bryson Allen Williams just sitting in zone waiting on Zay Jones to make the catch so he could get the tackle.
Plowman will step in, try to hit this from 43 yards. The kick is on the way, and he will split the uprights. So Plowman is now hit from 32 and 43. Carolina still leads this one, 17-6, 12:05 to go, second quarter. Well, South Carolina a little bit sluggish here the last couple of drives, but they had a great kickoff return to start the game. A.J. Turner took it down to the 9-yard line, and that is when McIlwain took it in from there. And then they had a nice drive and scored on a McIlwain touchdown. But last 2 drives, just 16 yards, and they manage a field goal. See if McIlwain can get it going. Will Muschamp told us right before kickoff that he was going to use McIlwain as a starter and go with him as long as he could. 2:20 to go before halftime. They'll go inside to David Williams. Not much running room there. Pick up 3.5 yards.
They opened up the game for South Carolina. They enjoyed such great field position. Really 3 straight drives. But since then, we've been incapable of getting any type of rhythm going. Part of it, McIlwain's been a little bit off target after coming into the game hot, gaining up a couple of big yards down the sidelines and with his legs.
Swinging out to the far side, out to the 18-yard line goes Davis. He'll pick up 6. Be close to the line to make. They'll say that is good enough to move the chains.
You mentioned Randricus Davis, the role that he'll need to play stepping up in Debo Samuel's absence. He's wearing his jersey, but a pair of khaki shorts on. We'll not see him here today. They'll need some of these guys to step up, including Brian Edwards.
Quick throw near side. Brian Edwards on the reception. He gets 3. Bobby Fulp makes the play. Fulp, a young man who was hit with a targeting violation last week in the first half, so ejected from that point, missed the second half.
Returns to the lineup for that Pirate defense. And they face a South Carolina Gamecock offense 3 plays in a row that involved 3 different true freshmen, just owing to the lack of experience they're dealing with.
McIlwain will keep it. Boy, he's got nowhere to go. There was 1 blocker and 4 white jerseys coming at him. Colby Gore comes up to make the play.
Colby Gore, they've gone after him a couple of times in coverage, a true freshman in his own right. Deion Pratt coming from his outside linebacker position as well in pursuit of McIlwain. You see that time, really nowhere to go. And a 3rd and long for the South Carolina offense that in the passing game has been completely out of sync the last several possessions. The last 3 touches for them on the offensive side of the ball.
I'm surprised East Carolina used some timeouts to try to get the ball back, force a punt here. I guess there you go. Maybe they felt like South Carolina was going to pick up the 1st down on the ground and be able to run the clock out.
Make it down. And as you mentioned, Dave, you head into the locker room now with an opportunity. You play with the lead. You jumped all over East Carolina in this game, but has since kind of settled down into a rut offensively.
Boy, a quick start for South Carolina. 17 quick points. They hold on and lead after 2 quarters, 17-6. Time to send it to the studio for our auto insurance halftime report, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Brandon McIlwain runs it in for 2 in the first 5 minutes, but what have you seen since?
Well, we've had some short fields to start the game. We started fast with the kickoff return. He's done a really good job. We got to block a little better up front. He had a nice ball down to Brian Edwards on the sideline, so I'm real proud of the way he's playing.
And your defense got 1 sack in your first 2 games and 3 already today. How are they getting to the quarterback?
Well, we've done a nice job. We've done a better job of covering down the field. He's had to hold the ball a little bit. That helps.
Thank you, Coach.
Back at Williams-Brice Stadium on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon as the Gamecocks open up their home schedule on the debut of Will Muschamp. They got off to a great start, but then things kind of slowed down for South Carolina. Defense played well to limit this East Carolina team to just 6 points. Dave Neal back alongside Matt Stinchcomb. Your impressions of the first half for South Carolina? Brandon McIlwain gets the start and went the distance in the first half.
It couldn't have kicked off any better, literally and figuratively. The way this game started, you see the stats, somewhat similar in the rushing game. It's largely been field position and the takeaways and points thereof that have been the difference in this game.
When you look at the total number of plays, 44 run by East Carolina, only 26 plays run by South Carolina. Hey, moments ago, Olivia Harlan caught up with East Carolina head coach Scotty Montgomery.
Coach, after their first 2 quick touchdowns, you've limited them to just 3 points. What do you like defensively?
You know, we got to keep our physicality where it is right now. I think the biggest thing is we had to weather the storm a little bit. Our guys did it. Our defense is settled down. Offensively, we got to get going.
You said you did not want the halftime conversation to be about missed assignments and alignments. What was it about?
You know, it's about doing what we do, doing our job. We had a few mental errors there, but the biggest thing was coming out executing at a high level. We just didn't execute. There was a few things that we knew what we were doing. We just didn't do it the correct way.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care.
Well, the first play from East Carolina picks up 21 yards. It's Quay Johnson makes the grab out near the 45-yard line.
Right out of the gate, getting the ball to one of their playmakers who they attempted to get the ball to a little bit in the first half with limited effectiveness. Right now, right out of the gate with a big play to Quay Johnson in the slot.
His 4th catch. Now Scott tries to turn the corner. Stays on his feet inside the 45. That's close to another first down. That'll be about 9.5 yards, maybe 10. We'll see if they move the chains on the far side.
We mentioned what South Carolina anticipated out of ECU was the sideline-to-sideline type of an offense. To get that defense running, to get your big bodies having to run the 50 yards from one hash to the opposite sideline.
2nd down and very short. They will throw it to the 37-yard line. Pass caught. Zay Jones picks up 6. And I want to tell you something. He's on a record pace here. Zay Jones now with 11 catches.
It's impressive. We knew he was a prolific receiver to be sure, but so far has been a very bright spot for this offense.
Little play action over the middle. There he is again, Zay Jones. They'll say incomplete as he bobbles it.
He's probably developing calluses on his hands. He's catching the ball so much, but that time very catchable. Zay Jones in traffic. That's one he usually comes up with. You've seen the ball a lot already in this offensive possession. Unable to come up with it there.
His 10th game with double-figure receptions. Summer spins out of trouble. Picks up the first down and then some. inside the 25 down to the 23-yard line, 16 yards. TJ Holloman trips him up. And this is the kind of drive we thought East Carolina would have to start the year.
And we really never did see it in the first half, but this is largely just the efforts of James Summers. You know, he was dead to rights. Darius English had him for a tackle for loss, and Summers, just a physical runner, able to fight through the tackle.
54 yards on the ground for Summers now. They'll go outside. Pass caught by Johnson. He'll have the first down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal from the 6-yard line after a 17-yard pickup.
Jimmy Williams, number 81 for ECU at the wide receiver position. Great job blocking on the perimeter. That's something that stood out in the first half. Not only are these Pirate receivers deadly in the passing game, but as blockers as well without the ball in their hands.
Summers takes the snap. Inside handoff. Nothing doing for Scott. He might have lost a yard.
Well, that's the challenge sometimes when your tempo, you're spreading the football field, you're getting the ball outside on the perimeter, and then you get in the red zone, and it's sometimes you get a little bit more deliberate offensively. The field condenses. There's less space to work with. And we've seen this before from ECU in this game where they get into scoring position inside the 20 and incapable of getting it into the end zone.
Here comes some heat from South Carolina. Pass is picked off at the 1-yard line. Chris Lemans, this time the junior.
And Phillip Nelson was not happy with Jimmy Williams. He was expecting Williams to come back for this football. Lemans comes right underneath this route. Watch 81 working versus Lemans. Let him get away with a good bit of contact there. And Nelson is saying, I want you to fight back to the pylon. Lemans comes underneath the route and positions himself between the receiver, obviously, and Phillip Nelson as the passer. And Nelson not happy with number 81. That's twice now where the Gamecock secondary is able to come up with a turnover in the end zone with the Pirates knocking on the door.
Lemans really challenged by the staff after last week's game. Now has 5 tackles, 2 behind the line, a forced fumble, a sack, and a pick. 1st down and 15. McIlwain throws it up. Pass is caught, but they'll say out of bounds. What a grab, though, from Davis. Corey Sargent was in his hip pocket the whole way. Ooh, did he have a foot in?
It looked like he did to me. And does he complete the catch? They're going to take a look at that one again.
That may stand as a reception upon further review.
Yeah, that left foot is clearly in bounds. You can see it right there. That's a great look at it. His left foot, not only touchdown in the field of play.
The receiver completed the process of the catch inbounds at the 32-yard line. It will be 1st and 10 from the 32.
And there's a look at Davis, who made the catch, playing some big snaps because of Samuel's absence, and comes up with a huge grab that gets South Carolina out of the shadows of the goalpost.
And that's a contested throw right there. You look at Corey Sargent, he's all over him in coverage, arms between the ball and Davis's body. Davis still able to come up with a big catch.
That sets up South Carolina beautifully at midfield. This drive started at the 1. Here comes some heat. Carolina runs right into it. They'll still pick up 4 yards on the carry by A.J. Turner.
Good job by the Gamecock offensive front that time. You said it, Davis. A rundown blitz. They're trying to bring both linebackers on either side of the offensive center, right in the middle of where you're running the football. They're able to get a hat on a hat, cover up that pressure, and Turner's able to inch his way forward to pick up 4 yards.
That's dropped. Jacob August hit him right in the hands.
He's looking to run before he looked it all the way in. You know, it's the same on recreational football fields as it is on SEC football fields. Took that ball all the way in. You can't run before you make that catch. And you can see that's exactly what he was looking to do, to break it inside and pick up more yards.
South Carolina 2 out of 6 on third downs. That pass is high and incomplete.
That time, defensive coordinator Kenwick Thompson coming with corner pressure again from the short side of the field. South Carolina had enough to pick it up, but they were misassigned. Didn't have a hat for one of the guys coming off the edge, and you end up throwing with the man in your face.
Well, if they can get this punt off and keep East Carolina somewhere around the 20-yard line or beyond, inside the 20, you got to say that's a win for South Carolina.
The field position battle, no question. You flip the field.
Fair catch called for at the 15-yard line, a 30-yard punt, but Carolina offense got the ball at the 1-yard line. East Carolina will now have it when we come back. Well, South Carolina dodges another one. I mean, it has been time and time again, East Carolina knocking on the door, but they can't seem to get that touchdown, and Carolina leads at 17-6, 5:07 to go, third quarter. Brandon McIlwain has gone the distance for South Carolina at quarterback. Gamecocks will have it first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. McIlwain to throw. And he will airmail everybody into that East Carolina bench. Interesting story today is Scotty Montgomery's in his first year as the head coach over at East Carolina, but has some connections to David Cutcliffe and Duke, and the offensive coordinator for Will Muschamp, also connections to David Cutcliffe and Duke. Kurt Roper on the right side of your screen, the offensive coordinator here for Will Muschamp, also was the OC at Florida for a year, but he was the OC for David Cutcliffe. Those two actually worked on the same staff for Coach Cutcliffe at Duke and became very good friends. And we're talking to Scotty Montgomery and said those two guys got to be real close on that staff with Coach Cutcliffe. And both those guys couldn't say enough great things about Coach Cut.
Well, you talk about an excellent man to kind of learn what it takes to be successful, regardless of where you are. What he's been able to do at Duke, winning a division, it's been pretty exemplary. Scotty Montgomery, they've got a gem in him at ECU. And they love him, very disciplined approach. And so far, they've been foiled in the red zone. Otherwise, they've done a really good job offensively and defensively as well, slowing down South Carolina. They haven't scored since their first 3 possessions of the game.
A couple of tight ends on third down. Here's McIlwain. Dancing around, trying to make something happen, looking for Williams. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. 16 yards. Boy, South Carolina needed a play, and they may have just got it from Williams out of the backfield.
They had 2 tight ends out in the route, and McIlwain kept this play alive just long enough to allow David Williams to adjust his route and give him somewhere to throw.
Now they'll go the wide side. Casey Crosby makes that catch, but look, go back to the Williams grab for a moment.
Well, they got to play off quickly. I don't know that he made this catch, because the point of the ball, you see there, Corey Sargent, he was kind of tomahawked that ball down. Looked like the ground aided him in maintaining possession.
Second down coming up, and 5. High throw, pass is dropped. Coverage from Corey Sargent.
Corey Sargent was involved in that previous one, but we've mentioned before, you know, it's not like Brandon McIlwain has the luxury of throwing to veteran receivers in this game. He's throwing to a bunch of guys that they're in their first year in college as well. So far, they've stepped up big. Adriquez Davis with big catches, as well as Brian Edwards.
Now a third down. McIlwain trying to air it out near side, and that one almost picked off by Sargent. He was trying to go to Davis.
That's the second time the ball is kind of hung up for Brandon McIlwain. He got away with it earlier, and it was a great catch by Davis. This time, though, well underthrown. Corey Sargent needs to make that interception for his defense to get the ball back. Davis looks like he ended up turning into a defensive back at the end of that play.
Another drive stalls out for South Carolina. Sean Kelly. High end over end kick. Taken by Johnson. Fair catch at the 10-yard line. A 42-yard punt. 3:05 to go here in the third quarter. South Carolina still hanging on. 17-6. Nelson and company have racked up 342 yards of offense. That play will pick up 6 to Zay Jones. Offensive lineman slow to get up.
Garrett McGinn a little slow getting up after that one. He's out wide trying to spring Zay Jones in the screen game. He'll be replaced. See them getting the ball around this offensive formation. Letting everybody participate. Zay Jones obviously the focal point, but Quay Johnson getting 6 catches as well. And Jimmy Williams, just the 2 receptions, a guy they're trying to get more engaged offensively.
Pass caught out at the 38-yard line. Guess who? I mean, just number 7. They can't find a way to stop the guy. Zay Jones now up over 100 yards again. That is now 12 career 100-yard games. I mean, how do you...
They do such a good job of moving around all over the formation. Now he's down to the right, to the bottom of your screen in the slot.
Looking for Quay Johnson. That's incomplete. I mean, it just sounds like somebody cover him, but I mean, it's the way they use him makes it almost impossible to do something.
You're exactly right. I mean, the way they use him, everybody gets a turn. You know, who's next? You know, get him off of me. Don't worry, we'll move him, and somebody else will get a turn to have a ball caught in front of him. So far in this game, Zay Jones has done just that. This isn't a surprise. You see Travaris Robinson, defensive coordinator Will Muschamp, they knew he'd be a big target.
Ooh, big head-on collision. Helmet comes off of Phillip Nelson. 6-yard pickup. Bryson Allen Williams and Nelson got to meet each other. But when you have a guy like Summers on the field and Nelson can leave and things don't change dramatically at quarterback. Watch this hit.
Oh, what a shot. Oh. Bryson Allen Williams, one of those guys that they said is a leader from an effort standpoint. You can see ECU wanting to talk about this one a little bit. Phillip Nelson on that sideline and James Summers at quarterback as the play clock was winding down. Of course, not ideal to have your Wildcat quarterback in the game and a 3rd and so long, 3rd and 4 here to convert.
So 15 minutes completed here in the third quarter. Right where we started the quarter, 17-6. So now it's 3rd down and 15. Nelson back in the game. Miscommunication. He was looking for Jimmy Williams, and a flag comes in. 2 of them come in.
Looks like he was working against Rashad Fenton, but I'm not sure that Jimmy Williams was looking to run the route that Phillip Nelson was throwing here.
Defense, number 16, automatic first down.
Boy, and they won it. A lot of South Carolina coaches thought that ball was uncatchable.
Yeah. Well, watch Williams. It's inside right now versus Rashad Fenton, and look, I don't see it. And Rashad Fenton, he can't either. Look at where this ball is going. You know, this is, I think, clearly there. Jimmy Williams and Phillip Nelson on 2 totally different pages, and they get bailed out with that pass interference
call. They have a fresh set of downs. East Carolina, though, will take it near midfield. Back-to-back penalties, one on East Carolina, one on South Carolina. Over the middle, pass is caught. Zay Jones will sit down, and that is a 14-yard pickup. And for Zay, he will now pick up his 17th catch for 144 yards.
He's been on fire the whole game. They know that he's going to be their primary target. And so far, he just does such a good job of getting loose. Keep in mind, 70 offensive plays run by ECU so far with an entire quarter to play.
Summers takes the snap. He will keep it and fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. Coy Lewis crashes in to make the play. Boy, Summers, just his strength, avoided a 3 or 4 yard loss.
You're not going to tackle him first drive. He's just not going to go down when you first make contact. He is surprisingly powerful with the ball in his hands and was able to really have to fight just to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 10 as Nelson back in the game at quarterback. Well, that could have been an early contact. There is a flag on the far side that comes in. Well, that's going to come from the opposite side of the field. I don't know if it was on.
It looked like it was Antoine Wilder that played right through Zay Jones to get to this football.
Pass interference, defense, number 21, automatic first down.
The fans don't like it because, you know, the PI earlier was a little questionable, but this one seems pretty clear. He's definitely early. Yeah, I mean, that is pass interference. We've seen some questionable ones, but he definitely made contact before the ball arrived.
Well, there's not a whole lot of depth on the back end for South Carolina, and they're out there a ton of plays. What a catch down to the 10-yard line goes DeAndre Ferrier, 22-yard pickup. They'll spot it right at the 10-yard line.
You see the pump fake from Phillip Nelson, and then he comes back to DeAndre Ferrier, who they were ultimately able to get the conversion because of pass interference, had the low block that negated a conversion, comes up with a big play here.
Here's Scott. He's to the 5. Lost the football in the end zone. South Carolina says they have it, and they do. Another Pirate turnover.
And who makes the play? Antoine Wilder with the pass interference on the previous play, and this time he gets in there on the shot. Pops this football out. Scott making his way towards the goal line. See, number 21 gets his helmet right on the football, and DJ Smith comes up with a recovery. DJ Holloman right there, unsurprisingly.
Stench.
Unreal.
I don't know that I've ever seen a team cough it up 3 times at the goal line like this.
Well, in the end zone, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 3 times where the ball is actually in the end zone and the defense takes it away. And if you're standing on the ECU sideline, you're going, we're doing everything but getting the ball into the end zone while we still possess it. That's the story of this football game.
They've gone 8 plays, 10 plays, 11 plays in their 3 opening drives here of the second half, and no points. South Carolina has it. They'll pick up 7 yards. Brian Edwards on that reception.
You almost wonder, is this like a rope-a-dope? Like, is the defense wearing the offense out? We'll just let you.
This is our game plan, right?
Yeah.
This is our game plan.
We're just going to make you get all the way down the field, and then we'll step up big once you get to the end zone.
410 yards of offense for East Carolina, only 6 points on the board. Handoff goes to A.J. Turner, and he picks up a yard, maybe 2.
Of course, the other side of this, though, is you got ECU. They're moving the football. They're not scoring, but the defense continues to stymie South Carolina offensively. So the 17 points, they came early in this game. Special teams, a short field, a big play. Otherwise, Gamecocks have been out of sync with the true freshman and the change at quarterback to start with Brandon McIlwain.
McIlwain has gone the distance. 13 to 24, 138 yards. On 3rd down and a yard and a half. I don't think he got much, if anything. Dimitri McGill out of that nose tackle spot. First man to hit him, and here comes the South Carolina punt team.
They walk both linebackers up into the line of scrimmage, and then they stunt the nose tackle. And big Dimitri McGill able to get in the offensive backfield again. He was able to do it earlier in the first half. That time, the penetration. And we've shown this in short yardage situations where ECU has won the line of scrimmage and forced a punt.
Oh, and the punt is shanked by Sean Kelly. Let's see where they end up spotting this. And this could be a short field, a relatively short field for East Carolina. They'll spot it at the 48-yard line. A 23-yard punt. 11-12 to go. East Carolina trailing by 11. East Carolina's been their worst enemy today. They have misfired when they have been knocking on the door. An interception in the end zone on 3rd and 1. Then they came back in the red zone again. This time Lemans picks him off at the 1. Then this sack and a fumble led to a field goal by South Carolina. Then a missed field goal from Davis Plowman from 25. And then just a moment ago, Anthony Scott driving inside the 5. He turns it over, and I think Scotty Montgomery, that reaction says it all.
You just can't believe it. Well, I can't believe it. You just don't see defenses. They've been living dangerously, have the Gamecocks. And you wonder, when does the other shoe drop as ECU continues to pile up yards and incidentally plays. But continually, South Carolina finding ways to get those stops in the end zone.
Big hit on Zay Jones. Loss of 2 on the play. Walton comes up.
Lots of activity in that offensive backfield. Zay Jones getting another touch, this time off a handoff, and Walton letting them know, hey, I stayed at home. I know where you are at all times.
Middle linebacker right up Daphne, Alabama. 4-man rush. Over the middle. Big hole in that secondary. Pass is caught. DeAndre Ferrier, the redshirt freshman out of Orlando, Florida, picks up 29 yards.
Drops that one in right over the heads of the linebackers. See Ferrier at the top of your screen. You got wide open middle. Just a huge window to throw into. 2 big catches on consecutive drives for Ferrier.
They'll go inside, handoff. Devin Anderson, loss of a yard.
See so far in this game, haven't had a ton of success running the football. ECU didn't anticipate that they would.
They'll hand off right side to Anderson. They'll pick up 4. The South Carolina offense came in here averaging 566 yards a game after 2 contests. They're sitting at 445 right now, 315 through the air, $130 on the ground.
You look at these numbers, 76 plays, 445 yards, Dave. They've had the ball just about twice as much as South Carolina, and it just shows what story turnovers tell and the impact that they have on a game.
They average 73 yards per game, or 73 plays per game after 2 contests. That ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete on 3rd down. So from the 28-yard line, here comes the kick team.
Yeah, big Dante Sawyer. And I mentioned it before, you can't say it enough. The smart defensive linemen, they know if you can't get there and sack the quarterback, you can't pressure the quarterback, you can get a tip ball. That's as good as a pass breakup.
So Plowman is hit from 32 and 43, missed from 25, this from 45, stretching his leg a little bit. It is on the way, and this one is just good enough.
And the ECU sideline erupts in celebration. They finally are able to come away with some points.
So Plowman, the senior out of Roswell, Georgia, just does get it over the crossbar. Back in a moment. We're at Williams-Brice Stadium. Dave Neal alongside Matt Stinchcomb, Olivia Harlan down on the sidelines. In South Carolina, 17 points in the first 7.5 minutes of this game, and nothing since. But the good news, if you're a Gamecock fan, is your defense has come up with some big plays and kept East Carolina out of the end zone. Just field goals for the Pirates today. 1st and 10. Brandon McIlwain trying to keep this offense on the field for at least maybe a couple of first downs. Good start here. Pass is caught by the tight end, K.C. Crosby. 19 yards on that pickup.
We don't usually talk about patience on rollout passes, but McIlwain setting his feet and then throwing that football behind the head of Pat Green in coverage and allowing K.C. Crosby to make that play.
Former Elite 11 quarterback, Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year. Sets, fires, wide open is another tight end, Hayden Hurst. He's inside the 20. Another first down. A couple of baseball players going at it right there.
That's right. And here's Hayden Hurst right here, split off the end of the line. He's a tight end that runs good routes, was a receiver in high school. He's wide open. Busted coverage, gets lost once he breaks his route outside. And we talk about the offense, hasn't had any plays, 2 big plays back to back to flip the field position and get South Carolina on the fringe of the red zone.
Oh, inside handoff goes to Williams. He bounces off a couple of guys and nothing happened there. We mentioned baseball. Brandon McIlwain, by the way, was considered the 16th best high school baseball prospect in the country coming out. Played a little bit with the Gamecock baseball team last year. Hayden Hurst, that guy right there, did play some professional baseball, a couple of years in the Pirates organization, threw it low 90s. Just couldn't get his control down, so he decided to give up pitching, played first base in his last year in the Pirates organization. That didn't go well, decided, you know what, let's go back and play some football, and that's where he found the Gamecocks, and they're glad to have him. Looking for Mr. Hurst. And we talked to him yesterday, Hayden Hurst, and talked about his baseball career and how much he loved playing football. Gave up football his senior year in high school to concentrate on baseball, but always in the back of his mind, he felt like, you know what, I can do this.
I always go back and play a little football, right? It's not the first time we've heard that story. South Carolina, lucky to have him. He said Perry Orth, who's from the same area in Florida outside of Jacksonville, was the key element in getting him recruited to come here to South Carolina.
McIlwain trying to keep it. A little bit of traffic up the middle, so he kicked it to the outside. No gain on the play.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to try to get McIlwain inside. Once again, though, linebacker blitz inside in the A gap. Jordan Williams crashing down and forced McIlwain to bounce it outside. Good job by the Pirate defense to string him out to the sideline.
Boy, and is this a big field goal coming up right here to try to stretch this back out to an 11-point game. Elliott Fry's the guy who went on the far hash. A 39-yard field goal attempt out of the hold of Sean Kelly. Kick is on the way. It is good. Elliott Fry does his job. Will Muschamp has a lot of confidence in the senior out of Frisco, Texas. What a start it was for South Carolina and Will Muschamp's home opener after 2 road games in conference play. They got home late both nights. Not many teams have ever had to open up their season with back-to-back conference games on the road. Matter of fact, their first 3 conference games are all on the road. They'll take off after this one and face Kentucky next week. Catch is made by Zay Jones, and there is the record-setting catch. That one goes for 13. That is his 18th catch today, a new school record for a single game performance. Congratulations to him. Nelson 36 of 48, 338, no TDs, and 2 huge picks. That one is caught at the 41 by Anderson. That's 6 yards. Clock at 4:48, 4:47. All 3 timeouts remaining for East Carolina. DeAndre Ferrier picks up 8 and a first down and gets out of bounds. So first down and 10 for East Carolina. Already a little bit thin on that offensive line. They will throw across the middle. Zay Jones. Crazy how good he's been.
A dominating performance and what is an underwhelming scoreboard. You look at only 9 points to show for one of the most prolific. This is the most prolific performances I've ever seen out of a receiver from a reception standpoint.
School record with those 20 catches, but East Carolina trailing on the scoreboard. Make it 21 catches. That'll be a 9-yard pickup. Actually, they'll give him 10 and a first down.
Phillip Nelson, one of the things the coaches liked so much about him is he knows where to go with the football, even under duress. I think that we're understanding his decision tree and where it starts.
All right, that is now his 22nd catch. And by the way, he has one off an NCAA record. 23 is the record. First down and 10. Lofted up to the end zone. That one is incomplete. The other thing that's amazing to me is the kind of condition he is in.
That's what's amazing. That's exactly right. Because he's been on the field virtually every offensive snap here today. He's not just lining up to one side of the formation. He's man-to-man with Rashad Fenton, one of the better cover guys for South Carolina. Was unable to catch up to that football. Phillip Nelson trying to lead him into the end zone. But you're right, it's the conditioning of Zay Jones is as impressive as what he's been able to do catching this football.
Second down and 10. Nelson pump fakes across the middle, and that one is incomplete. This time he was looking for DeAndre Ferrier, the freshman.
Better believe they were holding their breath on ECU's sideline. 2 Gamecock defenders in the area. And once again, it's just a here we go again, a scoring opportunity. Well, ECU right now, they're looking to score not only a touchdown, but go for the 2-point conversion to make this a field goal game to tie.
.3:15 to go. Pass is caught inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line. Devin Anderson will set up East Carolina first down and goal.
Wow. I don't know how they missed this. I'm watching it, waiting for the flag to at least come out. Messiah Rice, number 78, was well before the snap. No flag came out. That's a huge miss.
So now it's first and goal from the 12. Nelson takes the snap. That pass is caught by Zay Jones, and he just tied an NCAA record with his 23rd catch of the game.
Really just gave them an opportunity to throw the ball to Zay Jones. You score right there, maybe you don't get the ball back. Huge penalty, of course, and no way to get a first down. You have to get it into the end zone.
Nelson dumps it off underneath. Pass caught. Devin Anderson, touchdown. East Carolina from 4 yards away. They finally get to the end zone, and now they got to go for 2.
Phillip Nelson was sprinting over to the side. I don't know if he was expecting a James Summers package, because for sure you go for 2 right here to at least allow a field goal to tie it.
So Nelson out of the shotgun. They'll toss it back. They'll throw back to Nelson. And there'll be, how is that not pass interference?
Wow.
Did they not just throw him to the ground?
He did throw him to the ground. And it was totally unnecessary because it's a bad ball. Zay Jones, back foot. Look at this, Darius English. I don't know how you don't call that. And Phillip Nelson doesn't either. And Scotty Montgomery, he's losing his mind, and rightfully so. Well, those are two easy misses right there on the same sideline. Messiah Rice with the false start.
Oh, boy.
Then you get a holding call on a walk-in touchdown.
How do you not? Are you serious?
I don't know how a flag doesn't come out on this. It's a mugging.
I'm sure that one will be discussed tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's big now because it's now you have to score a touchdown. Well, a field goal doesn't really do any good.
There's the onside kick, and that one is covered up by Hurst. But my goodness. South Carolina with a 5-point lead. East Carolina does have all 3 timeouts remaining. 2:29 to go in a 20-15 game. Inside handoff, and that was close to a big pickup for A.J. Turner. Only 6. There's the first timeout used by East Carolina.
Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of yards gained from the running back position, especially between the tackles, but with the way ECU commits to the line of scrimmage, they continue to do that. There's a real chance A.J. Turner pops one.
2nd down and 9. McIlwain will keep it himself. Oh, he's tripped up. Somebody reached in there and just got him by a shoe. Looked like Cam White, the linebacker.
Timeout. ECU, that second charge timeout. Be a 30-second timeout.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 3.5 now for South Carolina after that timeout.
Here in the last 2 quarters.
From the 42.5-yard line, McIlwain throws, passes, caught. That is going to be very close to the 1st down. I think he might be a little bit short of that. They're going to spot him.
Timeout.
Just inside the 40. He needed to get inside the 39 or maybe just touch the 39. Crosby made the catch.
McIlwain rolling out. We've seen him do this time and time again. And it's where the ball is where he goes down. It looks like it's just shy of that 39-yard line.
Boy, now you're looking at 4th down and a half a yard maybe.
And a touchdown wins the game. And we've talked about it all game long in the second half especially, where ECU has just marched up and down the field, and it's been a fortuitous turn of events. Take nothing away from the Gamecock defense, but takeaways in the end zone, strange penalties. I mean, it's been that way the whole half. Does it continue? But the Gamecocks have been playing with fire with this ECU offense all half. You punt that football away and make them go the entire length of the field with 2 minutes to play. No timeouts.
Fourth down and inches. They'll go McIlwain option. 1st down and a whole lot more. David Williams turns the corner, and that'll seal the deal for South Carolina. 25 yards.
How about the old speed option to pick up a 4th and short? We get Deion Pratt, #1, crashing down, and it's easy pickings. Just throw an easy pitch, something that David Williams can field and get upfield with that football and get the conversion.
Congratulate South Carolina's red zone defense for coming up with 2 picks in the end zone. They had a fumble in the end zone.
Hey, you know, you get in the red zone, you got 20 yards to play with, and they used all 20. They used 19 3/4 yards.
We'll take a knee here. Need to correct ourselves because it's a big important note. There was a official scoring situation with Zay Jones. There was a pass that they ruled as a run. They deducted one of his receptions and considered it a run earlier in the game. So he finishes with 22 catches and not 23, which is 1 off the NCAA record. Regardless, Zay Jones, heck of a game today, my friend. 22 grabs is a school record. He is our player of the game, brought to you by Navy. 190 yards in this losing effort. one shy of the FBS record. Fantastic effort. Unbelievable, but not enough today. South Carolina will hold on for this win, and certainly leaves you a lot of questions offensively for South Carolina. Where do we go? Not a lot of offense here for 3.5 quarters, but Will Muschamp says we're about winning games, and that's what they did today.
That's right, and you've got a defense that you know will stand up and get you the plays that you absolutely need. They can't make a living on the way that they played in this game the entire season, but it was enough, and they were able to start fast, something that has eluded South Carolina all season long. For ECU, plenty of positives to take from this game outside of the 20-yard line in. Otherwise, the future seems very bright for the Pirates going forward in the American Athletic Conference.
Let's go down to Olivia.
Thanks, Dave. Coach, first start for your freshman quarterback. Let him hug him there. Coach, first start for your freshman quarterback, Brandon McIlwain. You see him every day. How do you think he handled this one down the stretch?
I thought he did really well. When we needed a field goal to make it a 2-score game, 2 fabulous throws. We got to get some things ironed out in the run game. Obviously, with the reads and some of the different things we're doing, we had some looks we wanted, and the kids did a great job. It was a gutty performance. Our defense played outstanding.
Your defense threw a wrench in what was a pretty productive ECU offense in the first 2 games. How'd you do it?
Well, I didn't do anything. Our staff did a great job, and our players played. They give our kids credit. You know, we beat them up a little this week, and they responded the right way. They got off the deck, and that's what champions do.
They heard the message. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Will Muschamp will take the win. His club goes to 2-1. He wins his home opener in front of a full house here at Williams-Brice Stadium. The final score, once again, South Carolina wins it 20-15 over a scrappy Boons from East Carolina. Coming up next, it's SEC Now. Let's get it to the studio.